Right then, that was turn 5. The enforcers are moving in for the kill now. A couple of things went right for the enforcers in that turn. The sniper over there took aim and used, I forget what the name of the card is, where you get an extra AP1. Took aim at the Strider and managed to take 2 wounds off of it. So that's great. The missile launcher is back up. Hopefully he'll get a shot in the next turn. And what else happened? This guy, this assault enforcer finally managed to kill off his opponent on top of the building there, doubled him, and then moved down. And what that did was it forced the mortar crew to run away. It was another one of those situations where you're not quite sure what they should do, because they're supposed to move away from assault troops is the first priority. And they've also got to try and get out of range and line of sight of heavies, which would be this chap up here. And unfortunately, I couldn't really see how they could do both. So the priority is the assault troops. So they've moved up there. So at least they're out of charge range. And the same thing happened for this normal line trooper. He had to get out of his position there because he was threatened by the assault enforcer, and climbed up there. Pathfinder, still rubbish. Even with a couple of extra dice for his hollow sight, couldn't take anything off of these guys. And now we move into turn 6. Oh, the only other thing of note that happened was the Plague played a cunning card, and what that does is it means they play all the surge and distract and change of plans cards they've got in their hand, which meant that my enforcers were left with no cards left in their hand by the end of that turn. However, they did finish activating first, which means they get to go first in this turn, and hopefully we're going to wrap things up right now. Turn 6. Oh, sorry, round 6. So at the end of turn 6, it's all but a done deal now. Oddly enough, the Pathfinder has really swung it for the enforcers, but not because of his hollow sight. In fact, because he turned out to be a bit of a beast in combat. So you may remember in turn 5 the mortar team had moved over there. They duly got pinned and suppressed. Well, I think the loader got pinned and suppressed. The gunner used a steadfast card. To stop being pinned and suppressed by the beam laser over here. But then the Pathfinder raced out of his position where he'd been sniping, raced into combat because he's agile, so he can do a sprint as one of his short actions. Killed one of them. He killed the gunner in the first round, and then fought to a standoff against the against who became the gunner. Then, when it was the Plague's turn to activate, the new gunner decided to fight against him, and got his throat cut. The Pathfinder doubled him in the fight. Sorry for the shadows, but the Pathfinder doubled him in the fight and moved over there, so he's ready to climb up here and kill these dudes in the next turn. So yeah, moving on to turn 7, should be a quick one, and then we'll wrap up. Well, that's it. That's the end of the game. The end of turn 7. Unfortunately, not a tabling. Didn't manage to completely wipe the Plague out. That assault enforcer jumped up there and managed to kill one of the Plague dudes, but not the other. I suppose I could play the Plague's turn, but there's not much point because the Pathfinder infiltrated off the board, and that gives me, I believe, 13 points. Or possibly 12. It depends on whether you count the Plague Mortar as 1 model or 2. But either way, clearly a win for the Enforcers. So, what do I think? First game with the Enforcers. What do I think of them? I've got to say I was slightly disappointed with the shooting. Although, you know, that comes down to dice rolling as much as anything else. So many misses that should have been hits. The sniper was great against. He took 2 points off of the Plague Strider. The rocket launcher took the other 2 points off. which was great. So you definitely, you definitely want at least one of these guys if you're going up against any kind of, any army with any kind of mech, any kind of big walker like that. But for what they lacked in shooting ability, they were super survivable. I think the fact that they all come, all the enforcers, not the Pathfinder, but all the normal enforcers come with 2 armor, means they are really hard to kill. Even if you knock them down, they're probably easier to knock down than they are to kill. Easier to suppress because just 2 armor. Unless you're using like some good AP weapons, Plague that don't have standard AP on their weapons, going to struggle perhaps. And what about the star of the show, the model that I put up on Facebook today, the Pathfinder, so we can get him in focus. What was he like? Well, his card, he's 12 points, which puts him just 1 point more than a regular enforcer. And for that, you get, he's the same at shooting, he's the same at close combat, he's more survivable, survives on a 3, but he's only got 1 armor. So, swings and roundabouts. He's got discipline like an enforcer. He's got scout. Scout, so the rule says that scout, you can put him in the enemy's deployment or anywhere in the deployment area, which I'm not quite sure what advantage that would be, unless you were literally going to just jump him straight off the board. Assuming that he didn't get killed as soon as the game began. Yeah, I'd have to do some. I'd have to, look on the internet and see what people say Scout is useful for. Agile is pretty good. It means that he can move, he can sprint or do a climb as a short action. So for getting him around the board, getting him up things and down things, that's pretty good. He's got a tag rifle, range 6, single shot, hollow sight. So essentially, that makes him like a sniper with a shorter range, because the regular sniper's only got range 10, and the regular sniper comes with AP 1. So he's got hollow sight, so they get the same number of dice to shoot, assuming he aims. Oops, I'm going out of focus here. Assuming he's aiming. Is he worth it? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I suppose he's slightly more flexible in that he could move and shoot. Whereas a sniper, my sniper was just pinned. I put the sniper in a stupid place to begin with. There wasn't very much he could shoot at because that stupid dish that he perched himself behind. So yeah, I don't know. I suppose if you want if you want an extra kind of sniper light, a slightly more maneuverable sniper, he's not a bad option. But then, in this game, he spent most of the game missing, and he did more damage when he charged into combat than he did with his tag rifle. So yeah, make of it what you will. Right then, that's it for this battle report. If you liked it, I'm glad. If you spotted me making any mistakes, keep it to yourself. This was just a little muck around just to see what the Pathfinder was like and to find out what the peacekeepers, what the enforcers were like. Yeah, any ideas, any thoughts, any suggestions, leave them in the comments, and maybe we'll do another battle report another day. Thanks for watching.